Greetings, metalheads, and welcome to No Nonsense Metal Reviews. I'm George, and I'm back yet again with another collection update for you, showing off a few of my latest purchases that I have spent my hard-earned pennies on, my most recent additions to the ever-growing and glowing collection. Glowing probably as, even though it is at the end of May now, we're at the end of spring, we're getting into summer, but it is still so dark and wet and miserable here in the UK. I'm actually having to use my artificial lights. How ridiculous is that? But all light aside, we're talking about dark stuff here. We're talking about mainly black metal albums, which I have added to my collection. A little bunch of vinyl I've got here in front of me and a couple of CDs as well to show off. I'll kick off with probably my favourite recent discovery from the mighty Belphegor. If you're not familiar with Belphegor, they are an Austrian blackened death metal or death blackened band. I don't know, whatever you want to call them. I don't think you'd be wrong if you said that they were a black metal band or a death metal band. Very strong death metal sounds and stylistic kind of leanings certainly in the earlier albums, and over the years I personally feel they've incorporated more and more black metal into their sound. Certainly with album number 7, this is Bondage Goat Zombie. A great album, an absolutely cracking album. I can't quite recall off the top of my head the year of release of this album, but it's a brilliant album. I do have it on CD as a sort of a budget double disc thing from a few years ago. Might be around 2008 this was released. Yeah, I think about 2008 this was released. But this is a really cracking album, and I stumbled upon this nice vinyl Nuclear Blast 2023 reissue. Stumbled upon it on Amazon a few weeks ago, and it was very, very inexpensive indeed. I have no idea why that happens, that sometimes things just plummet in price on Amazon and you end up picking up an absolute bargain. No complaints from me, because obviously it works in my favour, but yeah, Amazon. How do you explain that one? This is a lovely blue vinyl. You might not be able to actually see it in its full majesty, but it's kind of got like a black smoke swirl effect in there as well. Lovely blue vinyl there. Album number 7. Belphegor actually have a lot of albums in their catalogue, and a lot of great ones. And they are a band that, although I have been a fan of more casually for many, many years, it was actually only until not that long ago that I really started to delve in to their discography and try and fill in a lot of those gaps. And one of the ones that I have been coming back to quite regularly is this album, Bondage Goat Zombie. In my opinion, it's leaning more heavily towards the black metal side than the death metal side of the earlier days. However, there is still a lot of black metal, death metal, I should say, coming to the foreground. To show that we do have a nice lyrics insert there. Not that you really want to be reading too many of those lyrics if you're easily offended or a little bit shy, shall we say. With Belphegor, there does tend to be a lot of diabolical, sexual, heathen stuff going on. But it is a brilliant album. Certainly if you like Belphegor, then no doubt you already are well familiar with this album, as it is one of their most popular. But it is a cracking album. If you like black and death metal, maybe think of bands like Behemoth, where it's got a good leaning, a good helping of both, then you're definitely going to enjoy this album. Tracks to check out. I do love the opening title track there, Bondage Goat Zombie. It is relentless, it is blackened, and it is furious. Stigma Diabolicum is a brilliant track, second one there. Very oddly catchy and oddly memorable, but a great one. Justine Soaked in Blood is very, shall we say, risky? I don't know. It's a pretty explicit track, and if you like that sort of thing, then you're definitely going to dig Justine Soaked in Blood. Definitely heretical, certainly diabolical. Shred for Satan, great stuff, excellent. And I really do appreciate the sort of I guess the Austrian or Germanic sounding, or should we just say European sounding? I don't know, like Teutonic sounding. Der Rutenmarsch, which closes the album there, showing my ignorance of languages clearly. Cracking track. All the songs on here are brilliant, start to finish. It's a really solid album, and it's really nice to have it as a standalone piece, but also have it on a lovely colour vinyl. So, Bondage Goat Zombie from Austrian death metalers, death blackened metalers, whatever you want to call them, the mighty Belphegor. Okay, so up next, this has got to be one of the star finds, star purchases of recent times. This is the second full-length album from Polish, again, I'm going to say black metalers, certainly at this stage. Just all-round legends, though. The mighty Behemoth. And this is Grom. Now, this is a 2023 reissue of an album originally released in 1996, I believe. About then. 95, 96 time. This album, as a very big Behemoth fan, I absolutely love Behemoth. One of my all-time favourite bands. Even I have overlooked this album quite considerably over the years. But Metal Blade Records reissued this album last year. Prior to that, they had already reissued And the Forest Dreams Eternally, and I think they had reissued some other bits and pieces. But I think they released Storming Near the Baltic as well. But this one had been, more than full price for such a long time. I was actually primarily looking for the CD, and then happened to just remember that I still hadn't been able to find a copy of the CD. Decided that I would have a quick look on Amazon, and lo and behold, double vinyl. So this is a double album, 2 discs, about £13. I think even now, because obviously as soon as I buy it or someone buys it, the price shoots up. I think it's come back down. So last I saw it wasn't that much more than what I got it for. Lovely thing. It's such a lovely package. It's got that sort of embossed foil print there. 2 discs, loads of bonus material here. A really stunning package. It's got that kind of like matte effect sleeve. Love the artwork. You also get a huge insert here. A huge booklet. In fact, I've kept the sticker on the back there. So it says that it's 180 gram black vinyl, double LP with a 24-page deluxe booklet with lyrics, interviews, vintage photographs, and as a bonus on the bonus LP, you get 8 rarities, including covers, rehearsals, and live material. Just show this massive booklet. This is a huge booklet, and it does feature some really cool interviews. There's interviews with Nurgle, with Baal, with Les from the time. There's lots of cool stuff going on here. It's a really nice package. This is definitely one for existing Behemoth diehard fans who want to read a little bit more about the time, kind of explore Grom a bit further. Because I personally do feel that Grom is an underrated album. It's a great album. It's a weird mix of what Behemoth were already exploring stylistically with Storming Near the Baltic and the Forest Dreams Eternally. They were starting to find their feet, but with Grom, they've taken little bits of influence from all sorts of other bands, heavily cited in the insert and in the interviews there. Mention of the mighty Enslaved with their, I believe it's their second album, Frost, a legendary album, hugely influential. There's obvious mention of the mighty Bathory, of course, or Bathory, legendary band, very influential on a lot of black metal bands, of course. There's also mention of the Teutonic thrash legends like Sodom and Destruction. There's a little bit of a death metal influence in there as well, mainly sort of Scandinavian death metal. I know that Nurgle has always been a huge fan and mentioned in many interviews the influence and impact that Morbid Angel had on him. But I don't necessarily hear that here, but what I hear is a lot of different influences from a lot of different areas. And it's great. It actually contains some really brilliant material. The first proper track, The Dark Forest Cast Me Your Spell, which features Selena as a guest vocalist, is a really powerful track. A really, really good, strong, still early black metal track, but it's got these sort of very folky, very pagan sort of metal influences there. You can kind of pick up that Teutonic thrash influence, and also you can pick up the sort of influence that a band like Enslaved has clearly had on them. Spellcraft and Heathendom, brilliant track, fast, furious black metal there. Dragon's Lair, Cosmic Flames, and Four Barbaric Seasons is a very experimental piece. It's a little bit proggy, it's a little bit kind of out there, it's certainly very creative. Lassie Pomorza, can't really, again, apologies for the mispronunciation there, but that is a great track, really good. In fact, one of the real highlights here, I will point out, is the closing track on the bonus disc. You get Lassie Pomorza as a live version from the 30th anniversary show, 30 Years of Blasphemy, which sounds fantastic. It's a really cracking live version there, and it sounds like modern Behemoth. You know, it's an old track for them, early track, but it sounds wonderful, absolutely brilliant. So that's a highlight. Thou Shalt Forever Win, wonderful, black metal, relentless, but there's a little bit of a death metal vibe there. Then you've got Grom, the very, very sort of folky, pagan infused, but very good closing title track there. You get 3 covers. You get Freezing Moon, the obligatory Freezing Moon cover of the Mighty Mayhems, one of their most signature tracks. You get a really good really good cover version there. Then you've got Total Disaster, Destruction cover, fantastic, really good cover there. Ostatni Tabor from Cat. Not all that familiar with Cat, I will admit, but I know they're a legendary Polish metal band. Then you get some rehearsals and some live bits as well. But overall, this is a really nice package. It's an absolute star find, in my opinion. And it's an album that I know, although I've got it on CD, that I'm gonna have to revisit this a little bit more and give it a little bit more of a chance. Because I will admit, I do tend to gravitate towards sort of Satanica onwards. If I fancy listening to the early stuff, it does tend to be, well, And the Forest Dream Eternally or Storming Near the Baltic. But Grom, a fantastic album, and a lovely piece on that double black vinyl. I will just quickly show off the vinyl. And it does feel like high quality, heavy duty vinyl as well. Hopefully you can see that there. Really lovely piece. Awesome. So, keeping things black metal, keeping things awesome, obviously. An album and a band that I have been talking about here on the channel a lot recently, and with good reason, because Mystic Circle from Germany are an amazing band, criminally underrated, so many great albums in their catalogue, and they are one of the best symphonic black metal bands around. If you like Cradle of Filth, if you like Dimmu Borgir, those sorts of far more accessible, far more mainstream black metal or mainstream metal accessible bands, then you absolutely need to check out Mystic Circle. I know recently I did a sort of today's pick revisiting this album, Infernal Satanic Verses, which, you know, this is just such a nice album. This is such a great album. This really high quality reissue in gatefold there is such a stunning piece to have. I think I even mentioned in that review that I was going to be looking for this, and I did manage to get hold of a copy at a good price. Again, it was Amazon, but it was a little bit lower than it normally is price-wise. This is a Fire Flash Records, which I believe is a spin-off, subsidiary of Nuclear Blast. Limited edition, 500 copies, Demon Green vinyl. This is their third album from 1999. Now, I'm not going to talk too much about the album because, as I say, I've been rattling on about this one in particular a lot lately. But I will show this lovely vinyl, and I will once again recommend anyone that's a fan of, as I say, Dimmu Borgir, Cradle of Filth, Emperor. If you're liking that sort of stuff, then you need to check out Mystic Circle. There's fantastic, killer compositions there, absolutely stunning tracks. This album in particular, I feel, is one of Mystic Circle's best albums. Not that it's a case of, you know, all the best albums were back in the earlier years. There's 1999. The albums that they released in the last 2 years, 2022 self-titled album and 2023, are also some of the strongest standout moments in their career, in Mystic Circle's history. And they are just such a brilliant band, such a unique band. You know, there's a lot of theatrics there. There's a lot of brilliant sort of theatric compositions, but it is still firmly rooted in black metal. There is some killer guitar work, some amazing sort of bombastic vocals, brilliant, proper bestial, evil, satanic stuff. A couple of tracks that you need to check out if you need a little bit more convincing. Second track there, Undestructible Power of Darkness. You want to also check out One with the Antichrist. It's so freaking catchy as well. And I'd say Hordes of the Underworld is brilliant, but Thorns of Lies is another one. Since I did that review on this album, recommending it, I had to listen to it again a few more times, and I've really struggled to just pick out a couple of tracks to recommend for showing this one off. Just listen to the whole album. It's actually not that long, so it's 8 tracks in total, 8 lengthy tracks. I think it's around 45 minutes, so it's worth your time. Absolutely. Check it out if you want some killer German symphonic epic black metal. Mystic Circle. So I now have that on that particular album, Infernal Satanic Verses, album number 3 on CD and vinyl. But I did also pick up a little gem from Mystic Circle on CD. So this is one that I wasn't really aware of it until fairly recently. This is an EP released after Infernal Satanic Verses, so presumably about 2000. Yep. This is, apologies if I mispronunciate, this is Kriegsgötter 2. I believe that Kriegsgötter 1 was a single, if I'm not much mistaken, but I need to probably check that out. But this is a nice little for the fans EP release. A little something just to fill the gap between albums. I believe the next album was The Great Beast, off the top of my head. Do get a little bit confused sometimes, but it's a really nice thing. And I actually stumbled upon this as a second-hand copy, yes, but it was very, very cheap. There's a little mail order postcard in there. I just realised. Very cool. Very nice. It's a lovely piece. It's an EP, as I say, largely consisting of some genuinely excellent covers. Mainly, first track there, just saying the name, One Road to Assa Bay. I'm sure that everyone knows that is a classic, probably one of the most famous songs from the mighty Bathory. Absolute legends. And that version is to die for. It sends shivers down your spine. It is a masterpiece, an absolute magnificent beauty of a track. Love it. Then we get a couple of actual Mystic Circle compositions. Die Gotha de Urvator. I should probably just stop trying to pronounce things in other languages. But cracking track. Brilliant track. Again, a fine continuation of the sort of form that we had with the first 3 albums. In particular, Drachenblut, the second one, and Infernal Satanic Verses. Then we get a medley from Acheron, a band that I'm not all that familiar with, but another sort of legendary name. And finally, Circle of the Tyrants. I believe it's either a live version or it's certainly in the raw, like a rehearsal version of Circle of the Tyrants, one of Celtic Frost's most famous tracks, of course. But it's a brilliant, energetic, chaotic version there. So this is a really nice EP. I wouldn't say this is a great starting point if you're not familiar with Mystic Circle. I'd say you need to be checking out this absolute stunner if you're not familiar with Mystic Circle. But if you're a fan, even a casual fan or a more devoted fan, check this one out, because that version of One Road to Asa Bay is absolutely delightful. It's absolutely incredible. Freaking love it. And all the other tracks are really good as well. It's a nice little interim for the fans piece. So that's Kriegsgotha 2. Lovely little EP, which I'm chuffed to have on CD, actually, as I know it's quite sought after. So, up next, I'm going to stick with the CD before I reveal the final wild card vinyl in there, which was actually a recent gift. But this is the latest album, sort of comeback album, from Norwegian black metal blasphemers, Tsjuder, and I'm probably going to mispronounce this, but this is Helviga, and this is a box set version of their latest album. So there was quite a long period of absence between albums. This was released in 2023, and the reason I'm showing this off is A, because it's a freaking cool package, but also recently I talked on the channel here about a couple of albums of theirs that I'd picked up, namely Legion Helveta, Kill for Satan, Demonic Possession. Great albums, definitely worth checking out. If you're a black metal fan, if you're a fan of Dark Funeral and Marduk, if you're a fan of that sort of fast, full throttle, blasphemous black metal, in-your-face stuff, then you're going to absolutely love Tsjuder. But this album, I feel, this is almost next level stuff. I think it's very firmly leaning towards and rooted in the sort of Marduk style, all-out aggression. I know I use Marduk a lot as a reference point for all-out brutality, but that's because they're such a freaking heavy and brilliant black metal band. So Tsjuder are very much in that vein. But this little lovely box set includes some little gems here. So we've got a couple of little Tsjuder Helviga mats there. Leather. I don't know if they are mats. I don't really know. But they're sort of leather, almost like coasters. I want to say they're coasters, but I don't know now because I'm thinking it's almost too nice. But very cool anyway. Little placemats, something like that. So you get a couple of those. Real star though is this lovely pin badge. Heavy metal, freaking awesome Tsjuder logo badge. And not one but two digipacks. So again, we've got the album in lovely digipack form, and it is a cracking album. This is such a strong return. I'm not going to say a return to form, because I think that what they've done throughout, certainly the catalogue of theirs that I have heard, throughout their career, Tsjuder have been on good form. Some of the earlier stuff sounds very industrial black metal. This sort of stuff sounds absolutely barbaric, but it's freaking great. It's strong, top-notch, high-quality black metal, start to finish. Not an overly long album, less than 40 minutes, but it's stunning, absolutely stunning. And in this particular version, you get a bonus digi, which is lovely, which is an EP of Bathory covers. Tsjuder's tribute to Bathory, and it does include some, I'm going to say some deeper cuts. And we've got The Return of Darkness and Evil, which is a great one, maybe not so deep, but Satan My Master, certainly. Born for Burning, Reaper, and Raise the Dead. Some classic Bathory tracks there, and it's just a really nice sort of fan collector's piece to have. This is a lovely little box set from Tsjuder. As I say, Norwegian black metal. If you like your black metal to be absolutely barbaric, then this is an album that you absolutely need to hear, and a band that you need to hear. Helviga from the mighty Tsjuder. Awesome stuff. So, I alluded to one final piece in this little collection update. looking over next to me there's loads more stuff to be processed, so it won't be long before another collection update. But this was a gift, a recent gift, for a pretty significant anniversary. So my wife bought me this. This is Hellhammer's legendary EP, an absolute, a classic, a masterpiece from 1984. This is Apocalyptic Raids. So I have this on CD. I have a t-shirt with this on. I have talked about Hellhammer recently. I love Hellhammer. Anything that Tom G. Warrior seems to touch, other than a couple of Celtic Frost moments, is of significant quality and importance to me, and so many metalheads. This is a lovely reissue. So this is a 2020 Sanctuary Records reissue, gatefold vinyl, and it really is a package of significant quality there. So it includes the original remastered vinyl on a red vinyl, a 24-page booklet, 2 posters, and this lovely gatefold package that it's all housed in. So I just want to show this off because it is lovely. Oh, it sends shivers down my spine. If you're not familiar with Hellhammer, this was, of course, the project of Tom G. Warrior and Eric Martin Ain prior to Celtic Frost. A series of demos they recorded and released to an unsuspecting world. This was pioneering stuff, influenced by Venom, influenced by some of the very early sort of speed metal or heavy metal as well. This is masterful stuff that has gone on to inspire countless bands. Basically, they invented speed metal in that sort of essence. It's heavily influential stuff to all the black metal bands. It's cited as being so ahead of its time, and it really is. And this EP is dreadfully sort of lo-fi and raw, but that's part of the attraction. Show this weighty little booklet here. I say little, it's a very big booklet full of photographs, full of little bits and pieces, and it's just so cool. It's a lovely piece. You get your heavy duty booklet, and then you've also got a couple of posters here. It's just great. It's a lovely thing. A really nice sort of collector's edition. I think this has all of the same sort of photography and stuff that you get in the recent CD reissue, which is actually up here, so I'll reach for that. So you can get it in this format, but hearing these tracks, such as the legendary The Third of the Storms, Evoke Damnation, Massacre, of course, the very Triptykon sounding Triumph of Death, amazing, absolutely stunning. And then you've got Horus Aggressor, and then some bonus tracks. You've got Revelations of Doom and Messiah. This is essential listening. Any fans of Celtic Frost, Triptykon, you need to check this stuff out. This is where it all started. Any fans of any black and thrash, speed metal, black metal, thrash metal, anything, the whole metal world owes so much to Tom G. Warrior and Eric Martin Ain, and just this absolute freaking masterpiece of it. And Bruce Day. I shouldn't discredit little Bruce there on the back. But this, Hellhammer and Apocalyptic Raids, is a masterpiece of such significance. Absolutely incredible. Love it. Lovely to have this on vinyl. Such a nice piece. I'm absolutely thrilled to bits with that gift, that's for sure. One of the best EPs of all time, I think we can say pretty safely. Legends. And of course, if you like Hellhammer and you're digging that, if you check it out, you never heard it before and you really like it, do go on and check out Triumph of Death, Tom G. Warrior and a band that he's assembled, basically just playing Hellhammer material live under the name Triumph of Death. And it all sounds absolutely freaking brilliant. So check that out as well. But that's all for today's collection update. So just to recap, we've got Bondage Goat Zombie from Austrian black metal, death metal, awesome band in general, the mighty Belphegor. We have Grom, second full-length album from Poland's Behemoth. absolute masters. We have Mystic Circle's third album here, German symphonic black metalers, infernal satanic verses, absolute awesomeness. The Kriegsgötter 2 EP from Mystic Circle, Tsjuder, Belphegor, amazing album, do check that out. And of course the legendary Mighty Hellhammer with Apocalyptic Raids. Blowing speakers, blowing your face off, absolutely shrieking and scratching and roaring like a beast. Amazing. So there you have it, my friends. Please do check out all of these releases, check out all these bands. It's all worth your time. Thank you very much for watching. Please do feel free to like, subscribe, share. It's all very much appreciated. Really do appreciate the continued support. Do check back soon for more reviews, recommendations, and collection updates. And until next time, my friends, take care of yourselves and stay heavy.